We're pleased to welcome Steve Boyle, candidate for County Commission District 5.
Well, good morning. I'm Steve Boyle, and I'm running for County Commission seat District 5, which basically covers the Barrier Island and portion of the mainland. I've been a resident of Indian River County for considerable, about 30 years now, and I'm looking forward to giving back to the county. I came here originally up to the Treasure Coast in 1984. My wife and I, we moved up from Boca Raton, Florida after living in Fort Lauderdale because we really enjoyed the quality of life that was provided here. What brought me here originally was I came to Florida in 1974 to go to college at the University of Central Florida, which at the time was Florida Tech. After getting here and being raised on Long Beach Island, New Jersey, because I was born in Philadelphia, I had the opportunity to go surfing at the Sebastian Inlet. After we finished surfing at the Sebastian Inlet, we came down to downtown Vero Beach, had lunch, and then proceeded on down to Fort Pierce to surf in the state park, which at that time they called the Pines. And I'll never forget the time driving down Ocean Drive through Rio Mar and back out to A1A, and that was in November of '74, and that's when I kind of fell in love with Vero. Graduated from college with a finance degree and in business administration, and I came to Vero and kind of looked around to see if I could find a job and couldn't. So I ended up getting a job in Fort Lauderdale, where I worked for the Department of Transportation for about a year and a half. And then I realized that wasn't quite what I wanted to do, and I ran a construction company from there for 2 years. The construction company grew from 25 employees to 105, and the owner sold the company. At that point, I just married my wife, Kathy, almost for 40 years now. We've been together. And I decided to go back into the real estate appraisal business. And so we moved up to Boca Raton, where I took a job in West Palm Beach. Worked there for about a year, and most of my time was spent in the Treasure Coast, working in Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River, and Brevard counties doing commercial appraisal work. So at that point, I realized that I really wanted to get back to Indian River County. So in 1984, my wife and I and my son, who just was born down in Boynton Beach, we moved up to the Treasure Coast to North Hutchinson Island. From there, I started my own business, and now I've been self-employed and run a company, Boyle and Drake, and have for the last 30 years. Well, I'm ready to retire. And so I decided as a result of that, I would go ahead and run for county commission. I've never been able to do anything political in my life because with my business, most of our clients are banks and governmental agencies, and you have to be very careful about conflicts of interest. And as opposed to getting conflicted out of possible jobs, I just had to avoid politics and being on boards and other things. Because it's a requirement of your license. Well, retirement has come around, and now it's my turn to give back to the county. What motivated me to run for county commission is I've been very fortunate and been able to live on the river for the last 20 years. And over that 20 years, I've watched the water quality degrade. When we moved up here in 1984, we used to swim, fish, dive in the river, and you would never even hesitate to catch something in the river and take it home for dinner. Well, over the last 30 years, we've seen quite an impact from development and from other issues that has impacted the quality of the river water. So that was one of the motivating reasons for me to decide to run for county commission, because I want to try to make an impact and get the river cleaned up. Second thing that I've done my whole career is worked with growth. I've studied growth. I've appraised a lot of large projects that involve growth, and I think that I have a very good handle on what is good growth and what is bad growth. and how growth impacts the environment and the public safety and the lifestyle of people. And in an effort to keep the quality of life in Vero at the level it is or improve it, I felt that my background would help make those correct decisions as a county commissioner. The next thing, and this has always been a concern of mine, is there's been a lack of quality jobs available in Indian River County. Indian River County has always catered to the second home person and the retiree. Well, I've been very, very fortunate through my life to be able to raise my children here and have them go away and get educated and then want to come back to Vero Beach, and both of them have been able to get jobs here. My son works with me and my daughter has a hair salon. But without having somebody here to really help you out, it's very difficult to come back and get a quality job that pays well enough that you can afford to live in the county. So this is another thing that I would like to try to help make an impact on. The reason why I feel that I'm most qualified to run for the county commission job is because I've lived here for over 30 years. I've run a business here for that time. I've interacted, my clients have all been banks and governmental agencies, and I've worked with the South Florida Water Management District, the DEP, the St. John's Water Management District, the cities, the counties, engineering firms, and so on over the last 30 years working with growth. And that would give me a tremendous advantage because I think I have a very good handle on the overall picture and what needs to be done and how all the different parts interact, because we're going to have growth whether we like it or not, and so it has to be controlled. And every time you look at a project, you have to determine how will it affect the environment, how will it affect the quality of life of the people that already live in the county, and those are the most important things, and also safety. Those are the most important things to determine on how to go forward with the growth that we're going to have.